Hello everyone, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Ultimate General Civil War. This is episode number 60 in our Confederate Let's Play series, and we're fighting the Battle of Washington. We are in the second part of the Battle of Washington. We already successfully took Fort DeRussy, and we are now launching an assault on Fort Stevens, the bastion at the center of Union resistance on the northern edge of Washington, the historic fort where Abraham Lincoln observed a battle in progress for the only time in his career. In fact, got yelled at for looking over a parapet by someone who basically called him a damn fool, not knowing, I assume, not knowing that he was the president. This is part 2 in our assault on Washington in our bid to end the grand campaign and win a victory for the Confederacy and win the game in Ultimate General Civil War. With that being said, this was taken from a live stream from a couple of weeks ago now. I'm going to go ahead and step out. I hope you guys enjoy, and away we go. A little bit too much focus on the 20th veteran for my taste. I'd rather see you guys shooting at the artillery unit. Looks like they're aiming at it, but see here it's doing some canister work. These guys are going to come in here and fire at this artillery unit. Meanwhile, we're in and around the enemy, so we're doing some damage. On the other flank. Okay, so we destroyed those two batteries. Those two brigades are routed for good. It's great. Just need to finish off Barton here. There you go. He's routing, but not necessarily destroyed yet. Although got to be pretty close. All right, so that the U.S. artillery is still hanging in there. Fire at them. Yeah, I don't really want you engaging one-to-one there. Alright, the 4th Artillery is retreating. The next volley or two should really devastate, if not destroy it. There you go. It's dead. Alright. Now let's have one guy try and charge here. Maybe two guys try and charge here and see if we can break through Fort Stevens. Definitely broken through on the other flank. We can destroy some of these guys here before they get a chance to retreat. That would be phenomenal. So there's 5 forts we have to take. We've taken 1. We're about to take a second. We're leaking some troops or units to the rear here. Let's move them forward. Harry, I don't know where the enemy that you were facing went, but move you forward. Let's move our supplies forward. All right. Pause. We just broke through here on the left. We are in the fort. The whole front of their defenses have kind of collapsed in a bit. This artillery forward. We'll keep the supply. These guys forward. The flank. 1 brigade here. 19th veterans. But the 20th veterans are broken and running. Hopefully they're destroyed. Hard to tell. Looks like they're going to survive. The whole front of their line is broken in. Fort Stevens is ours. We got to hold it for 40 minutes. Hopefully it lets us fight that whole time. Ooh, yes. Let's try and get some of these troops in the defenses behind the fort. And then if they try and retreat... Curtis is surrendered. Very good. Then if they try and retreat, we can destroy them. Alright, that artillery battery was destroyed. Yeah, it'd be great to set up sort of a hammer and anvil setup, where they retreat right into our entrenched troops. Great. Alright, let's move this way and behind them. Don't let them retreat. Haskins surrendered. Nice. Alright, so we've definitely flanked the fort. All but one of their artillery batteries has been driven back. And one position in the fort remains in their hands. Steedman surrendered. Very good. Otterford surrendered. Very good. And forward. So as much as we can finish off here would be really great. Doles, I think, got a little bit over eager. He's a little bit too far forward, I think. But this secondary attack turned into quite an effective flanking one as well. We've lost how many men? About 10,000. They've lost about 10,000. Gosh, it feels worse. Oh, for fuck's sake. These troops reoccupied that fort. Well, you're going to get troops in behind you pretty quick. Alright, so Fort Stevens is ours. Now we just need to kind of press the advance. Wilcox's brigade has lost a lot. Some of these troops are way back here. Finnegan's Corps, or division, or brigade. Alright, so trying to get in around them, but at least we've largely avoided this secondary defensive line by getting this whole corps of ours in on their flank. First veterans here are holding us up just a little bit. $11,000 to 11,000, so again, feels like we should be doing worse to them than we are. But nonetheless, we are sweeping them. Sweeping them from the field, I say. We're sweeping them. Dear God, we're flanking them. I'm not managing the advance as effectively as I probably could be. I really feel like this one brigade, the first veteran, has done a lot of the casualties that we've suffered. All right, we've got some troops back here. These are captured, retreating. Okay. PH Butcher is enjoying the view from the sidelines. We've got some artillery kind of out of play. Some of these guys forward. I'm gonna go ahead and charge. Go ahead and flank. We've got them in a giant vice. Destroy them. Machine Gun Brigade is no longer the Machine Gun Brigade. I don't know why I've called that, but they're definitely not armed with Henrys anymore. Jackson's Brigade was driven back. The first veterans are almost dead. 7 more minutes, and then this phase of the battle will end. Okay. Right, keep advancing. I wish I had more time to push them into the corner of the map and destroy them. As it is, we do not. Casualties have started, I think, swinging more in our favor. I'm not really sure. It's hard to follow sometimes. No time left. Fort Slocum is our new target. Great. Fort after fort after fort. We've received the last troops that will support the northern advance. The rest are heading south to flank the east side of the city. It's actually the west side of the city, I think. Fort Slocum must be taken. Advance, men! Alright. Well, we've already destroyed most of the enemy troops that I think are there to defend it. So that'll work to our advantage. You can see a lot of these guys are caught in a vice. We're in and around their actual defensive lines. So this is all... I mean, none of this is occurring as a flank attack. Or, well, not frontal attack. None of this is occurring as a frontal attack. We will have to advance on the fort, which will definitely still have troops in it, I'm sure. But... you can see here we're destroying brigades, routing them from the map. Ames surrendered. Did he surrender and then unsurrender? I guess he surrendered, unsurrendered, and then we killed him? No, he's right there. He just unsurrendered. That dastardly coward! Or whatever. I don't know if you're a coward, but when you surrender and then you unsurrender, that's damned unsporting. We'll say that. First veterans surrendered. Sure, where? Very good. I think the key here is to get in toward this fort as much as we can before whatever's left of their reserves gets back there. Some of our troops are moving at the double. We'll inevitably be exhausted. Some of them are not. Are we at casualty-wise now? About 12,000. They've lost less than that? Really? I wonder if that number drops as their units route from the field. I wonder if that only factors in the actual units. Some Yankee cavalry is harassing our flank. Where? Don't see them. Okay. We left substantial forces back here. I don't know if that's another fort we're going to have to swing in and hit or not. We're not really harassing our flank because we flanked them. Alright. Enemy artillery is here in the fort, which we're behind, so we've already driven them back. Need a moment to, like, rest and resupply my troops with new ammo. The interesting thing is the Yankee attack on Richmond is a multi-day affair, whereas this attack appears to be a single-day affair. So I found that interesting. Okay. Looks like they've got some artillery in the fort, but they don't have any actual infantry in the earthworks. So we've got some artillery to overwhelm. They have some infantry on the wrong flank. They're moving some cavalry here into be annoying. Got 2 more hours. Test. Well, we've already held them. We just need to hold or take Fort Slocum, I think. And route them from the map. Really don't have many men left. Trying to destroy everything they have on the map. How's our attack on Slocum going? We pushed back that artillery. Now I've got 2 infantry units to deal with from the flank. Shouldn't be too much of a challenge, I don't think. See here, more of these troops have been routed. push them off the map this way. At this point, it feels more like mopping up than anything. Melee. They do still have some artillery here on the corner of the map. But we are losing some men as we move in on Fort Slocum. We don't really have much room to maneuver against the fort. Wow, that brigade has inflicted 1,000 casualties and only lost 100 men? Not anymore. Alright. Yeah, that 15,000 number's falling, so I think we've inflicted a lot more casualties than it would suggest otherwise. Because as units are actually removed from the field of battle, that total it's drawn from drops. Additionally, I still have a lot of troops back here in the rear that I haven't done anything with yet. Largely because I'm just trying to... one, I'm lazy. And two, there's no point in putting my entire army in this tiny little box in the corner of the map. Okay, so these guys are all going to be pushed up against the map, corner of the map, and destroyed, I think. Certainly the objective. Okay, some of our troops are low on ammo. That's fine. Alright, that artillery's pushed out. Now we get to shoot at the backs of the enemy. Alright. Packer's brigade is being pushed out. Warner's brigade is just about done. Yep, he's done. Packer surrenders. Warner retreats, or is destroyed. It'd be really nice to have some cavalry to kind of pursue some of these units. I don't really want to draw too many of my troops north. And see, we're going to trap some of these guys in here. The corner of the map, we got 20 minutes left, so we should be able to finish off these guys. Alright. Those veterans have surrendered. They don't get captured back. Yep. We surrender, just kidding, we'll die. Alright, well, that works too. They stubbornly defend. Well, okay. We still had some time left on the mat, General Hooker's reinforcing Fort Stevens with all of his divisions. The Yankees are determined to not let us approach Washington. Great. Well, I pulled all of my troops from over here. So that's gonna suck. Guess we're gonna have to shift these guys over this way. I don't know how many of them are coming up. It doesn't look like a ton. About 8,000. We've also got troops in the fort itself. We'll see what comes our way. 3rd Division's approaching. I'd almost rather let them get to the fort. 2nd Division's also coming up. Problem is, those guys are coming up on the, like, where our artillery is. I don't need Gary to chase him. I've got a brigade at the fort still. And there's no real point in chasing this enemy cavalry, although I think they're going to try and go to liberate Packers. Let's shift him this way. I'll have 1 or 2 brigades kind of engage these guys. The rest of these troops will put 1 or 2 in the fort itself. Move the rest of these over here to the other flank, where the Federals are coming up. But yeah, our artillery's gonna take a beating. Double quick these guys over here to the flank. Still funny that this artillery is largely holding its own. These guys are in good shape. Let's go ahead and have them run. Alright, so what do they have on the field now? 7,000 men? By all means, have your cavalry charge the fort and try and take it. I would be thrilled if you did that. Alright, moving troops west to deal with this enemy counterattack, or whatever this counts as. And these guys are going to just try and attack him. They're going to die. Oh, they're in a part of the fort. We'll leave here. Go ahead and advance these guys on Hooker's flank. I think Fort DeRussey's okay. We've got them outnumbered substantially. So, hoping whatever comes over there just gets killed. Alright. Hooker's divisions are not that much of a threat, it doesn't seem. At least as far as what I can tell. Gonna try and aggressively move at them and get as many of them as I can. See if we can't destroy some of these folks, especially the artillery, so we don't have to deal with it later on. The flanking attack has started. Okay, well, this is the... Let's see, we've taken 3 forts in the front. We've now got this fort on the flank to deal with, which is Fort what? Not going to tell us? 2 forts over here on the flank. Is. Any remaining reserves will support the attack from the east side. Well, there's not any remaining reserves, I don't think. Fort Thomas needs to be secured, and so does Fort what? Fort Washington. Okay, so we need to take those 2 forts, and then we need to take Washington. General, we are ready to advance. All right, well, I think we've got 3 hours to take these 2 forts. Can you even draw this battle? I don't think you can. Hold Washington, hold Fort Washington, hold Fort Thomas. So far, things are going well. Now, this is our weakest corps, filled largely with raw recruits. Does look like the enemy is not in these forts yet. Not really interested in going for the city yet. I want to make sure we secure the forts. So, it is tempting. I mean, this fort's completely empty at the moment. Now, it doesn't mean there aren't necessarily troops, like, literally in it, just not in the fortifications yet. But let's find out. Let's get a couple brigades to double quick that way. Quite a steep slope they've got to climb, so... I'm assuming once the enemy spots us, they'll start racing reinforcements there right away. Attack Washington! Charge! Okay, the enemy has 20,000 men here to our 30. Not just going to blindly charge in on the capital. That's crazy talk. Actually going to move most of my troops north. I don't want to have a spread out flank attack. Right. By the looks of it, they've occupied these fortifications. Yep. Already one brigade driven back. Lovely. What did you think you were doing, game? You told me to charge. Craziness. Advance! Am I really still charging through the river? So the fort is actually not guarded yet. Just these frontal positions here. But that's a very steep slope to get up. I thought it wasn't the whole idea that this attack would take him by surprise. Isn't that the whole idea? Is it easier to come across the river in these other places? Alright, so we pushed him out of this one position. Cameron's brigade just got a nice little volley there. We're going to move these brigades in behind. Got 2.5 hours to do whatever. Alright, forward. Alright, so we've bloodily pushed them back out of this initial ring of defensive works around whatever this is, Fort Washington, or is it Fort Thomas? One or the other, I can't remember which. Go attack that artillery. Going up a steep slope. Yeah, War of Rights does look interesting, I guess. I'm just skeptical of a first-person shooter working for a Civil War game. The community that they have now is largely supportive of the idea of trying to not be dumb when you play. But it's just a backer community at the moment, so when the game gets into the mainstream, I kind of wonder, you know, are they still going to have the same level of willingness to play things in a not sort of run-and-gun sort of way? But I guess we'll find out, you know, willing to be proven wrong. Alright, so we've knocked a bit of a hole here on their flank. We're expanding the gap here. You can see Strickland's brigade finally was pushed out of its earthworks and is receiving a few volleys here in the open, which is good. All the damage we can do to these troops in the open, the better. Go ahead and attack this artillery here. Expand the gap. Carter is going into the forts with his rear already vulnerable, so I don't ever understand why the game has the enemy do that. But good for me, because those guys are gonna get shredded a bit. The damage we did to the artillery, I'm hoping will make this fort easier to take. Guess we'll find out. That's a really steep slope. All these guys are still coming up. Are these the guys with the smooth bores? No, they've got Lorenzas. I feel like they should be doing better than they are. Alright, Wells battery's finally being driven back. Doesn't look like they have any artillery in the fort. No, they've got one battery coming up. Really, it's all about making one breach. Alright, everybody, that's going to do it for this episode of Ultimate General Civil War, Part 60. We've taken Fort Stevens, before that we took Fort DeRussy, and we are now driving on Washington itself in the final phase before we drive to take the capital of the Union and hopefully win victory for the Confederacy. With that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and step out here, and until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you very much for watching. And until next time, I'm out.